Hi everyone, this is video 2 of our module, What is Zoom? If you are on video 2, that means you have watched video 1 and you have also taken the time to create your Zoom account. Alrighty, so if you're at this point, you're halfway through the module, and now we're continuing to talk about what Zoom is. Again, we're going to go over our essential questions and objectives, and then we're moving into objectives 3 and 4. So the essential questions for this video are, how do I create Zoom meetings? What are the features in a Zoom meeting? The objectives that match our essential questions are, I can explain how to create a meeting and make recurring meetings. I can explain the different features in Zoom and what they are used for. All right, let's start with our first objective. How do I create a Zoom meeting? Same thing you did to go and create your Zoom account. You're going to go to zoom.us and click the blue button at the top right of the screen that says sign in, and you're going to log in. Let's go ahead and do this now. So zoom.us, and then at the top, you're going to see different things. I click on my account. Now it's different, so let's go back because I was signed in. Sign in, there you go. Here's my stuff. Okay, it's gonna land you on this page. If it doesn't land you on the meetings page and it landed you on your profile, you're gonna click the second tab that says meetings. You can see I already have a few meetings scheduled, but you can schedule ongoing meetings. To schedule a meeting, you're gonna hit schedule a new meeting, and it's gonna land you on this page. Now, you don't wanna navigate away from this page until you've hit saved. The first thing you're gonna do is give your meeting a name. So if it's, small group meetings that you're doing with your kiddos, name it small groups. You don't need to give a description unless it's gonna be helpful for you. Then you're gonna send a date and a time. So right now, today's the 9th, we're just gonna say our small groups are meeting today. 3 p.m. How long is it gonna last? This doesn't have to be exact because with your teacher account, it's not gonna cut you off, but that's okay. You wanna just ballpark it. Make sure we're in the right time zone, so central. Now, I like to have my meeting ID set as my personal meeting ID because then, like you see here, it's gonna give a passcode that is the same for all of the different meetings. So when I'm working with my kiddos, the password I'm just gonna have is my last name. It's secure enough, not like 1, 2, 3, 4, but it's easy enough for my first graders to remember my name and type it in. We're going to talk about this later, but enable a waiting room. That means that you're going to let your participants in as they join the meeting, and it allows for additional security. You want your video to be on for the host and the participant. That way you can see all your kiddos. And then down here, there's some different options. Mute participants upon entry, record the meeting automatically, and enable join before host. Now, I don't check any of these because my kiddos, I want them to talk when they get on. I don't want them to be muted. I don't want them to join before me just for security and safety. And I'm not usually recording my meetings. If I record my meetings this fall, though, I would hit click record. And then when I save the meeting, it's going to save the information. Now, when you save the meeting, it comes up with this page, and it has the different information that you need. It talks about the features you've selected as well as the invitation link. To share the Zoom meeting with your participants, your students, your families, whoever you're trying to talk with, you're going to need this link. So you can copy the invitation and you would just copy this all. Now you've started a Zoom meeting. Let's go back to our slides for a second. So again, I scheduled a new meeting and I entered this information. Now, that's also what it looks like. Sometimes I want to schedule a recurring meeting. Like last year when I was working with my kiddos in small groups, I knew I was meeting with them in small groups every day, Monday through Friday. So instead of creating a different Zoom link for each day and having a lot of Zoom links for my kiddos to navigate, I created one recurring Zoom link. Let me show you what it looks like and then I'll walk you through how to do it. Again, I'm at my meetings and you can see already up here, the start time says recording or recurring. and it's small group meetings. It has the same meeting ID, and when my kiddos see it went on their Canvas or on their Zoom, it was the same link day in and day out. Let's go back to the meeting we just created, and I'll show you how to make it recurring. I can edit this meeting if I need to change it. If it would let me, my goodness. Okay, phew. So we're back to everything I've set. When I go below the time zone, you see this recurring meeting. That's what's gonna make one link that you can use over and over again. So click it, and then it's gonna allow you to kind of customize it the way you want it. Do you need it to occur daily, weekly, monthly, or no fixed time? How often do you want it to repeat? So I said four times. You can start end date, and when it ends, you customize it to what meets your needs. I really think creating one recurring link for your kiddos is going to be the easiest, but do what you think is best for you and your kiddos. Maybe you need one recurring meeting for all your math kiddos, one recurring meeting for all your reading kiddos. You do what's best. Again, let me go through those directions. So you did the same steps to schedule a meeting. Instead, under the meeting date and time, you're going to select the recurring meeting and enter those details. And again, that looks like this. It's right over here. Okay, so we know how to create a meeting and a recurring meeting, and you're going to get to play around with those when we finish this video. Now let's talk about what the different features are within a Zoom meeting. So the first thing you're going to see in a Zoom meeting is something called the toolbar. The toolbar usually can be found at the bottom of your screen, but if you're like me and I'm sharing my computer screen through Zoom right now, it might go to the top of your screen. The toolbar has different icons and buttons that you will click on to kind of use as features. And we're going to go through those features now. So the first thing you'll see is video. This is the webcam feature. If I cover my video or turn it off, you can't see me. If it's open like it is now, you can see me. You want to teach your kiddos what this means so that they're kind of aware of what is being seen. You also want to show them that the video covers a lot more than just you. We know our kiddos are at home and our families might not be aware that we can see what's happening in the background. So we just want to go over that. That way we're not seeing anything crazy. So when my video is on, you see that there is no line through the video. When my video is off, you see that there is a line. Let's turn my video off so you can kind of see what this means. See, in this case, you've seen me go away. Now you see me back, my video is on. The next thing is muting. Muting controls whether participants can hear you speak. So I could be talking right now, but if I'm on mute, you wouldn't be able to hear me. This is great to teach your kiddos, especially if their mom's trying to talk to them, but the whole class doesn't need to hear it, then turn themselves off mute. When you're doing a huge group, you want to have your kids on mute unless they're the ones speaking. So if we're not muted, it's like this. If we are muted, it's like this. Again, let me show you. You're going to see me talking, but you're not going to hear me talking. Make sure you teach your kiddos those features and teach them to follow the rules you have for those. Okay, after that, you're going to see more features at the bottom. The first one I want to go over is participants. This helps you know who's in the meeting. So if you're not sure how many people should be in the meeting, or if you're waiting on a student, click on participants. It will pop out a list, and it will also tell you who's in charge and if they've chosen to have their mic on and their video on. The chat is super cool. Now, there are additional features you can use to turn them off if you don't want your kiddos communicating. This wasn't something I had to worry about in first grade because they don't have the typing skills yet, but in the older grades, it can be an issue if you don't have rules or are not monitoring the chat. But the chat is super unique because you can communicate with others through texting. And you can see that right now my message is sending to everyone, and I can attach files and different things, but I can also send it to individual people. So if I'm teaching older kids and I need to tell Zach to do this thing, I can, instead of telling everyone what Zach needs to do, I can directly message Zach privately. Sharing your screen is really, really key. If you're like me and you use PowerPoints and different things, what you're gonna do is you're gonna click on share screen, and then you're gonna have different options down here. Usually I share my desktop, but I know a lot of teachers like to use a whiteboard instead of just having a whiteboard held up to use. You can also enable your participants to share their screen. So if you need a kid's needing help, you can teach them how to share their screen. And to allow them to do that, you just have to change the settings with this green arrow right here. Recording is what I'm doing now. If you know your kiddos are gonna miss a lesson in the fall, you can also record your meeting. Basically, you hit the button record. When you're finished, you can hit stop or pause, but stop is gonna end the recording altogether. And then when you end the meeting, it's gonna save the file as an MP4. Okay. Now, there's a couple other features in Zoom. These are found at the top right hand of your screen. The first one is for meeting details. If you need the meeting details, need the password, different things like that, click on this and you'll get that information. And encryption is just what this thing needs. It's for security purposes. Finally, some additional things you can do are you can create virtual backgrounds. You can see in this picture, somebody has a city in the background, so you'll upload an image. There's directions online on how to do that. You can also enable multiple people sharing their screens at the same time. If you're not looking so great and you want to touch up your appearance, you can do that. And finally, you can have virtual meeting rooms. Okay, now that you know what your features are, and you know how to create a meeting, you're gonna pause, and before you go on to the video 3, you need to practice creating a meeting and playing around with those different features. I'll see you all soon.